Recently, California Governor Gavin Newsom picked Laphonza Butler to fill Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat after she recently passed away at the age of, I believe it was 90 years old. Now, what I want to do is play a quick clip from Fox 11 Los Angeles, where they give a little bit more detailed information on who Laphonza Butler is. And as that clip is playing, I'll be giving a little commentary over it, sharing my opinions and what I think about this whole situation. So let's dive into this clip right now and get things moving.
Now, this is an interim replacement for the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, who was 90 years old. She had about 15 months left in her term, and now we know who will fill that vacant seat. Laphonza Butler will make history as the first black lesbian to serve in Congress and the first openly LGBT senator from California.
Here we go. Here we go. Are we tired yet of black skin being used to push DNC agendas? Are we tired of that yet? Right? It's gotten to the point now that you can't even say black American, black, or African American without immediately saying LGBT right afterwards. You can't even say one without the other anymore. It's as if no Hispanic LGBT or AAPI LGBT or Jewish LGBT exist in America. When it comes to anything political coming from the Democratic Party, anytime they want to introduce or put forward an LGBTQ first, whatever that may be, they always make sure that it's a black face. And my question to you is, why is that? That's something that we've discussed before, and I've given my answer and opinion on why that is before. But I'm interested to know what you all think in the comment section. Why has the Democratic Party created an environment politically in which we've gotten to the point to where it is almost impossible for you to ever get any type of news and information surrounding Black Americans without it immediately being tied to the LGBT? And here's a little bit more of a harsher question, but a real question that we have to ask and start being honest about. Are we as a people really this simple minded? Are we that simple minded that diversity hires like this, symbolic foolishness like this, is all that it takes to get us to the polls? Is this really all that it takes? That's my question as well. Now, I know that question might be a little harsh once again, but these are serious questions that we got to start asking ourselves at this point, because this is getting ridiculous.
She's the current president of Emily's List. That's a political action committee devoted to electing Democratic women who support abortion rights. She has a long track record in California politics, serving as a senior advisor to Harris's 2020 presidential campaign.
She was the senior advisor to Kamala Harris's 2020 presidential campaign. Let's go to that really quickly. Let's go back to 2020. Kamala Harris's 2020 presidential campaign was a complete and utter failure. It was a campaign that fell apart before things even got started. As you can see here from this New York Times article, the title reads, "How Kamala Harris's Campaign Unraveled." And I'll just read a little paragraph that's underneath very quickly. And the portion that's highlighted in yellow: "She has proved to be an uneven campaigner who changes her message and tactics to little effect and has a staff torn into factions. This is the campaign that Laphonza led. She was the senior advisor of this campaign that completely fell apart into pieces. And now she has been elevated to a U.S. senator. She's been elevated to this position after failing miserably as Kamala Harris's senior campaign advisor. And that just goes to show once again that this is nothing more than a nonsensical symbolic gesture towards Black America. This is extremely insulting, but then you have to ask the question, if we as a people, as a whole, are not expressing the fact that this is extremely insulting and we're just going along with it, then it goes back to the original question that I asked earlier of, are we truly this simple-minded that we will accept foolishness like this as a good enough reason to run to the polls and blindly vote Democrat like we've been doing for the last 60 years to no true avail.
And as president of California's largest labor union, SEIU Local 2015. So Governor Newsom, he'd been facing pressure by some black politicians and advocacy groups to select Representative Barbara Lee, a prominent black congresswoman who's already running for the seat, along with U.S. Representatives Katie Porter and Adam Schiff. Newsom said he didn't want to appoint any of those candidates because it would give them an unfair advantage in the 2024 race coming up.
Now, really think about what he just said. Out here in California, black politicians and black advocacy groups, so-called black political advocacy groups, are fighting harder for symbolic nonsense like this than they are for actual concrete transformative legislation that can change the black community forever. They're fighting harder for diversity hires like this than they're actually fighting for reparations, locally here in California as well as nationally. And most importantly, what we need to recognize here is that they are fighting harder for themselves and for their own personal benefit than they are for the black community and the black constituents that they're supposed to be representing. Because that's what this really boils down to. On top of the fact that this all plays well into the hand of the Democratic Party and the agendas that they're pushing, what we have to understand is that what you're looking at when you see Laphonza Butler and other black politicians and other so-called black advocacy groups and leaders that are tied in close to the Democratic Party, you see that they operate within a fashion of promoting and pushing one another. Laphonza Butler is part of an elite black political class here in America in which they only look out for themselves. They look out to push and promote one another while playing the role of black leader, while playing the role of pushing for change for the black community. That's a role that they play, but that's not the life that they actually live. The life that they actually live is that of a soulless sellout, one who will prioritize themselves and their own elite group over the collective while pretending to be about the collective. That is who these people are. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. I also have a Telegram group now, so if you have Telegram, make sure to hit the link in the description box below as well as pin in the comment section to join my Telegram group. And also, please make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as an insurance plan for myself, so in case YouTube ever gives me the axe, I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that will help put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And for those of you who have issues with joining Patreon, you can also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button, and that way you can become an official channel member for as little as $3 a month as well. And lastly, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me. And the link to that will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.